The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. This is Kent Tibbles with ASI. I want to thank you guys all for joining us today. We have with us today, kicking off our Tech Summit webinar series, we have PNY and we have Adrian here with us today and Willie, who are going to be going through their presentation and talking about the QUADRO products and what PNY has in that product line and some opportunities for you guys as resellers using the QUADRO products. Before we do that, there's a couple of things I wanted to do, real quick announcements, and then we'll kick everything off and get into the presentations. First, I want to remind everybody that we are doing a seminar series. So we're starting today. This is our first day of starting the series, and we have a webinar session today, and we have one tomorrow, and then Thursday and Friday. So each day we're doing a different series from a different vendor. All these seminars start at 11 o'clock. So today at 11 we have PNY. Tomorrow at 11 we'll have Intel talking about vPro technology. On Thursday we have Samsung, and they'll be talking at 11 o'clock about their SSD drives and SSD solutions. And then on Friday, we wrap it up with Supermicro, who will be talking about AMD servers. And all of these seminars take place at the same time each day. So we want to welcome you guys to come back and join us for each session. Also, as a reward for you guys participating in our sessions, we have some great prizes at the end of each of the seminars. So today, PNY is going to be giving away an iPad. So we will announce the winner of that iPad at the next day's webinar session. So be sure to come back and join the next day so you can hear who's going to get announced as being the winner. But we'll be giving away an iPad today. Tomorrow for Intel, we're giving away an Intel Nook. For Samsung, it's a 50-inch LED display. And then on Friday, Supermicro is doing some headphones, some Beats headphones. And then if you guys attend all 4 sessions, you'll be entered into a raffle drawing for a chance to win a Intel gaming notebook. So lots of cool prizes, lots of opportunities for you guys to get stuff and win things. So be sure to make sure you come back and join each one of the sessions. So with that said, I'm going to kick things off. But before I do that, real quick, one more thing. If you guys have questions, on the side, you'll see your GoToMeeting control panel. There's a box that says questions. You can go ahead and type in your questions there. You just open up that window and type in your questions, and then we'll be able to ask Willie and Adrian, and we have Jay Chen on the line with us as well today. We'll be able to ask the entire PNY team any of your questions, and we'll go ahead and do that at the end. So as we're going through, if you have a question, go ahead, type it into the question box, and we'll be sure we get that to the PNY team. So with that said, Willie, I can see you're anxious and you're ready to go and you're ready to get started and get everything kicked off for us. So I'm going to go ahead and turn everything over to you. So let you go ahead and get us going.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are guys well and safe. First of all, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join this webinar. Hopefully the information we're going to present to you is useful. And any questions you might have, we will address them at the end. But once again, my name is Willie Ortiz. I'm the Field Sales Engineer Manager for PNY Technologies. Been with the company 20 years since we started a relationship with NVIDIA back in 2000. Started with the GeForce products, and then we got QUADRO, and we started the Tesla business for NVIDIA when in 2006 when they released CUDA and library. So we specialize on GPU, and we can proudly say PNY is the only company that carries professional QUADRO line and the consumer GeForce. No other company can do that. And the advantage of working with PNY is because we carry both lines based on your customer's needs and requirements. We can find the right solution based on the project. And with that being said, I'm going to get started. We got a lot of information to cover. And today, this webinar is going to be about servers with NVIDIA RTX for rendering, for AI. And we're going to go and start the training. So serving the data centers and challenges today, from growing demand for compute-intensive architectures to work across multiple workloads. Other challenges are difficult time maintaining and availability of uptime, maximize resources, improving capacity and utilization, and increasing IT efficiency through use of AI automation. So those are the challenges that are being encountered today because everybody wants to virtualize. How we work today has changed, and everybody knows that, especially this is a big example of what we're doing today. We use platforms like GoToMeeting, Teams, Zoom, WebEx to now conduct trainings that we would do normally in person. So good thing about it, we have webcams where we still can see each other, we can still communicate and provide information. So although a few organizations plan for the global circumstance and what happened in COVID-19, many will now decide to have some type of desktop virtualization presence to expedite business resumption. And everybody wants to virtualize, but sometimes they don't know how to do it. So we're going to go over on how to deploy it. So 70% of the new desktop for virtualization business cases will be used on business continuity demands on highly during the COVID-19 crisis. 70% indicate work from home employment models will likely be permanently changed as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of companies probably after the pandemic is done will implement people to work from home, and especially if you have kids and the kids are sick, you still can stay at home and be productive and not lose a day of work because now we have the tools to do so. This COVID-19 pandemic has allowed us to reinvent the way we work today. Work trends for 2020, working from home or remote is the new normal, right? 91% indicate they have recently implemented work from home arrangements. And with this pandemic hit, not all organizations were ready to work remotely. Some of them were fortunate they already had deployed virtualization. 54% indicate that poor technology or infrastructure for remote working is the biggest barrier affecting remote working. So with the RTX servers, other challenges can be solved. IDC predictions for G2000 companies by 2021, the workplace is being reinvented. 60% will utilize employee experience as a key differentiator. 60% will have adopted future workplace models, and 65% will offer remote work options, which is great. Even our company at PNY, only essential workers are going to the office. Most of us are remotely, and now we've shown with the tools we have, be able to work from home and be productive. And that's the work options. I think when the pandemic is over, you still, because we proved that we can work from home, some employees going to be able to stay to work from home a few days a week and maybe the whole week. I myself been working remotely for many years, and now with the technology, I'm able to do anything I need from home. So the NVIDIA GPU accelerated data center, making remote virtualized workspaces accessible to the entire workforce, being 2D applications, 3D applications, AI applications. NVIDIA has a server capable of running any workload. Enabling remote workforce, raise the bar on productivity and users experience, meet increased graphics demand for a modern digital workplace, rapid provision of virtual workstations, and I'm going to show you how you get to do and implement those virtual workstations in less time with lower cost, access to anywhere, any device, experience rivals of physical PC. So now with virtualization, if you're using a middleware, it could be Citrix, VMware, you can enable any device, being a tablet, a phone, a laptop, or entry-level workstation by installing their client software and have full capabilities, availability for that high-end GPU. So eliminate constraints of workflows, increase user productivity, and enable geographic expense teams collaborate without borders. So now with this new technology, as we're doing today, all of us in different places in the States, different states, we still can communicate, but now you can collaborate with anybody, anywhere in the world. I don't know if you saw the NVIDIA keynote from Jensen and the Marbles video that they created, and they updated the video using the RTX A6000. I'm sorry, I was going to say Quadro. They rebranding is still a Quadro product, it's still the goodness of Quadro. They just removed the Quadro name on it, but it's now RTX A6000. But that board has the new generation tensor cores, RT cores. So with those boards that are, they're really powerful, you're able to virtualize and work for anywhere in the world and collaborate. So the video marvels that I was talking about was produced by people that are working for NVIDIA remotely, and they collaborated with a middleware of a platform to create that video that you enjoy and that you saw. So service with NVIDIA RTX defined solution scope, high performance visualization, visual computing, AI platform. So enable time and cost-effective GPU visualization. Tested and validated across range of workloads, being computer-aided design, collaboration design, QUADRO virtual workstations, data science and compute, accelerated rendering, AR, VR at the edge. So this complete box could be utilized for different platforms and different vertical markets, depending on the way you deploy it and what your needs are. So service with NVIDIA RTX for virtual workstations. So bring the power to a QUADRO RTX to a virtual workstation. Once again, with a middleware, you could be a tablet, a laptop, a phone. You have the power of the GPU in your hands. And these are some of the vertical markets that can take advantage of this technology. Once again, AEC, education, energy, financial services, government, healthcare, manufacturing, and media and entertainment. Media and entertainment has taken a hit because of COVID-19, and as you can see now, most of the major movie releases are being released in streaming platforms. They still enable them to generate revenue, and you're going to see how when they create the content, utilize the RTX service, and allow them to actually cut the time that it costs to produce a movie or do a scene. And I'm going to show you some numbers in a few slides. So what do you need to enable an NVIDIA virtual workstation? So NVIDIA has a software called Virtual GPU, and there's a profile that gives you the option, the NVIDIA VWS. It's the profile that allows you to have a full workstation virtualized using an RTX service. So you get the advanced features, like you had a Quandro, high performance, and you still keep the application certifications that come with the Quandro boards, enterprise reliability. So you got tools, and very important is data security, because now this is in a data center, you still have that security you require and you need, and it's resource optimization, data proximity, and IT management tools that allow you, once you deployment, to manage and deploy and maintain the solution. So this is just a quick overview on how virtualization is being deployed. Remember, virtualization was done in the CPU environment, and what you see on the left-hand side is the way it is deployed and how many layers you get to it with the apps and VMs and ISV hypervisor and the server itself. The way you do it with the GPU now with NVIDIA RTX server it's different layers and different form, and it gives you better performance. Once again, you're able to slice and dice the resources. For example, you're talking about RTX 8000, you're able to take 48 gigabytes of memory and slice and dice that memory to, depending on your users and your power users. So this is the way it's deployed, from 2D applications to OpenGL or high-end 3D apps, or just media streaming. So you have the ISV apps, like always, your Autodesk, your 3ds Max, and once again, the drivers still certified for those platforms. Then you get the NVIDIA graphics driver layer with the compute if you need it, the NVIDIA virtual GPU with the NVIDIA virtual GPU, which used to call Grid. And then you need NVIDIA virtualization software, but that's your Grid, your ISV supervisor. But keep in mind, you still need that layer, the middleware, being your Citrix, your VMware. So NVIDIA virtual GPU software. So GPU virtualization for every workload. So as I mentioned before, there's an NVIDIA profile. If you're only doing 2D apps, multiple monitors, then you get the NVIDIA Grid for virtual PC applications. If you're running Maya 3ds Max, you're gonna have the NVIDIA VWS profile, so for your virtual workstation. And now you also can now take that same platform and use AI, deep learning, data science, and HPC parallel processing. So you will need a compute profile. But as you can see, the one solution is flexible. Depending on your workload, you can deploy all of them or just 2 of them, or just one individually, depending on the environment of the customer. So NVIDIA Quadro Virtual Workstation GPU accelerated features. So even though it is virtualized, this is the latest features that you get. You will get the multi virtual machines GPU sharing, like I mentioned, sharing the resources, multi GPU aggregated as well. And then on the Linux only, you can have peer-to-peer using an NVLink. You still have the features. If your application requires ECC memory, you can turn that on, right? So it by default is turned off, but if your environment requires ECC memory, you still have the option to enable that. It's the same as if you had a Quadro board. You're able to right-click on your desktop and enable Quadro features from the NVIDIA control panel, 10-bit color support for Windows, and enhanced flexibility schedule. So you can now deploy and maintain the resources and give priority to users as well. So a small list of applications that once again certified for this solution for every user or any application. Knowledge workers to the apps, being PowerPoint, it could be just a browser or office applications, or creative and technical professionals, and it can empower professional graphic users with great flexibility. Once again, Autodesk, AutoCAD, CATIA, SolidWorks, just to name a few, Unity, Unreal, Bloomberg. So you still have the stability and the performance as if you had a Quadro board, but now you're deploying that solution in a data center environment. Just to give you some performance numbers, when you virtualize with the RTX 6000 and 8000, and I'll show you a list. We actually have two flavors of the board. We have an active SKU and we have a passive SKU. And they keep in mind, and I'm going to cover this, they only go into certified server environments. You just cannot plug them everywhere, especially the passive boards. If you don't put in a certified server, they will burn out because they don't have proper cooling. But as you can see, XpedView 13, which is the benchmark utilized to benchmark professional solutions, you see the performance difference using a T4 and a Tesla V100 against the RTX 6000 and 8000. So definitely you see the performance boosts in there and increments. Boost rendering with RTX accelerated applications. So Quadro takes rendering great performance. As you can see here, using Autodesk Arnold, we're comparing, it runs 60 times faster than the CPU. And as you can see, the small chart that is in front of you, it shows you the performance between the two. And keep in mind, lower is better in this instance, right? Because you're minimizing the rendering time. So the lower the time it takes to render, the better performance you're getting. So serving NVIDIA RTX for 3D production. Increase productivity, you realize, while decreasing cost. So content creation is very important. I'm going to show you a slide on how Netflix utilized the RTX servers to reduce their time in coming to production in lossy space. So doesn't matter the application you run, media entertainment, CAD design, fluid simulation, the RTX server will act like a render farm and will help you render your products and your projects. Proven NVIDIA Quadro experience anywhere. Once again, so NVIDIA has a solution for you depending what your needs are. So you have a physical Quadro board in a workstation, in your local workstation. You can also have Quadro in the data center, what we're discussing today, virtual workstations in a Quadro. VWS is the NVIDIA virtual GPU profile, and Quadro in the cloud as well. So 90% of the world professional workstations are powered by NVIDIA Quadro. So that's impressive. So now we're going to cover NVIDIA RTX for rendering. So just a quick overview of the VX production pipeline, the workflow from pre-production, asset creation, cleanup, and shots. RTX servers will allow you to take those steps and render the user in many phases of this stage, and give you better performance, and once again, minimizing the time that it takes to render a frame. So there's different options to do rendering for workload configuration. So if you look on the left-hand side, option 1, offline rendering, so final frame, you get your GPU render, you get your CUDA X, your AI, your optics. Once again, this is supported in RTX 6000 and 8000 active or passive. Virtualization will be supported on the new RTX A6000 but keep in mind, it does take a while because we need to validate the solution, not with this only with the server, make sure the thermals are there because you put in 4 8 boards in the system. So you're probably going to see RTX servers with A6000 sometime in probably March timeframe 2021, because the board will be available for deployment, but on the RTX server environment certified, it takes about 3 months or 4 months to validate and certify the solutions. Keyword here is certified. So option 2 is on-demand view rendering. So ISV applications, if you're rendering hypervisor, once again, will need the NVIDIA VWS profile. And option 2 is a work by day rendering node, work by day and rendering node by nighttime. So now you can use, as you see, the flexibility of the solution. You can use it in different forms. Once again, you can utilize it as render node by night, and when nobody's utilizing the resources, you still have your ISV application, if you render your hypervisors. And then the NVIDIA AGX Server 2, if you want to deploy AI solutions, you can get the containers for the NVIDIA NGC website and deploy them through an NVIDIA EGX server for AI. This is an example I was giving you how this RTX server has enabled people that do content creation from Disney when they produce Coco, and this example is Netflix Lost in Space. As you can see, in a CPU node, dual Skylake, single frame render time 38 minutes, total render time in 120 frames, you're looking at 76 hours. If you look at the number of nodes required, it's 25. Power requirement 13.2 kilowatts. Acquisition cost $188,000. 5-year cost of power $68,000. Total cost of a CPU-based solution is $256,000. Now let's compare that to an NVIDIA RTX server with 4 RTX 8000s. So you render a single frame with under 6 minutes, 120 frames, 3 hours. A single rendering node required. Power consumption, look the same, is 1.9 kilowatts. So acquisition cost $25,000. 5-year cost of power $10,000. So total cost of that solution is $38,000 versus $256,000. Imagine with $256,000 how many RTX servers you can deploy in that environment. So 6 times the performance, 25% performance on rendering, number of nodes 25 times, right? So performance improvement and cost savings is great. So 6 times faster than a single frame, 25 faster than an entire shot. So this is why Netflix deployed that solution in their environment. Servers with NVIDIA RTX dramatically boost rendering workflow performance. Blender cycles with RTX 8 times faster than the CPU. So CPU versus 2 Quadro RTX 6000 boards running Blender 2.81. V-Rate next GPU, same, you see the performance versus the CPU 18 times faster. You're looking at the Autodesk Arnold RTX up to 17 times faster than the CPU using the RTX 8000s, 8 of them versus CPU, and SolidWorks Visualize 17 times faster than the CPU again. Once again, this is running dual RTX 6000 environment on the SolidWorks Visualize 2020. So now, not only NVIDIA gives you the performance, the stability with the RTX 6000, 8000 solutions, but they also give you independent software vendor certification. So when you deploy the solution, you have the peace of mind that it's been tested and validated. You probably are familiar with some of these ISVs, from Unity to Blender, CATIA, Autodesk Arnold, the list goes on and on, Octave rendering. This ISV software that I utilize for rendering take advantage of the QUADRO RTX server. Servers with NVIDIA RTX for data science and AI. So once again, the same platform being flexible. So data science and AI use case in every industry. I'm sure you have customers that fall into these vertical markets, from retail, supply chain, inventory management, price management, product optimization, promotion, price and targeting. You got telecom, tech network security anomalies, forecast network secure optimization. You got healthcare, you got consumer internet, financial services, manufacturing, energy, so sensor data, type mapping, anomaly detection, robust fault prediction, and automotive from personalization, intelligent driving interaction, connected vehicle predictive maintenance, forecasting demand, and capability capacity of planning. So RTX server with data science and AI allows you to do that. So you see how flexible is one platform. It's just the way to deploy it based on your needs and your environment. Service with NVIDIA RTX for data science and AI, CUDA X AI end-to-end GPU accelerated workflow. So data science workstation software, data science servers packages. You see the workflow. So NVIDIA data science workstation for OEM partners, service NVIDIA RTX with EGX service in cloud. The NVIDIA GPU accelerated data science for workflow built in CUDA X AI and featuring rapids. So data, you got your data, you got your data. This is your stage, is your workflow. You got your data, you got your data preparation, and that takes time. And the data preparation and data scientist, most of the time it's just preparing the data and then waiting once it's prepared and deployed for the model training, which can take some time. And then you see the visualization and predictions. All these stages of the workflow are now smooth. They take less time because now the data scientists are not waiting for the model to finish training. Now the training is done in less time, and they actually get to go home at least at 5 o'clock in a workday, because before, because they didn't have the hardware that fast enough to help them with this workflow, they would stay working late. Now because of the NVIDIA RTX server solutions, they have more time to spend with their family and be productive, not waiting for the model training to end and then deploy and see the predictions. So rapids with NVIDIA RTX 8000 unprecedented data science performance. Once again, keep in mind here, shorter is better. So you see for the workflow end to end, how you're saving time to XGBoost to data preparation. So just look how productive this data scientist could be now because they have a robust solutions that allow them to actually deploy the workflow. Here's a chart with TensorFlow with QUADRO RTX, FP16 larger batch sizes. As you can see, great performance here as well. And now we're going to cover RTX server again for CE and simulation. So simulation with the product design workflow. So conceptual design, simulation, and prototyping. All of this before, and remember the commercials with the test crash dummies, right? You had to destroy a lot of cars back in the day to get to this stage. And now with RTX server, and if you use a professional software package for simulation, you're able to design and simulate crashes. And then at the end of your simulation, you actually take a car and see the results, collaborate with your simulation results that you did in your physical crash testing. So complex and lengthy process is shorter, computationally intensive, high level of expertise required, often a time or resource bottleneck. So ANSYS is a good application on simulation, and I'll show you that. So in the CE simulation product development workflow, you have your hypervisor, your CE applications, you get your optics, you also have your NGC containers if you're doing deep learning. And once again, these solutions are supported across a server environment with the RTX 8000 and 6000 active or passive. As you can see, ANSYS and PTC on-demand power for engineering simulation, accelerated 2-bit simulation applications, faster model simulation and pre-processing, orders of magnitude for speed up and compared to CPU-only based systems, visualize and evaluate physical accuracy simulation results are faster. And right here, the keyword here, faster results. As you can see here, you got Altair UltraFluid X accelerated CE scale on QUADRO RTX 8000. Look at the performance versus a single board, dual boards, 4 boards, 6 boards, and 8 boards. Depending on your requirements, you can deploy any combination of boards and quantity. So we actually gonna share this presentation at the end of the webinar, but we're also sending you a PDF with platforms that are certified. But as here you can see the applications that are certified for RTX server, ANSI, Siemens, Altair, and PTC. So as you can see, the list is intensive. And depending on the environment and the application you have, at least you're going to have the peace of mind that's been tested and validated. So servers and with NVIDIA RTX required boards, and I keep on saying it, but I have it here listed for you. We have the RTX 6000 and 8000 active and passive. Keep in mind, and I'm going to repeat this again, you're going to get a PDF, a list of servers that are certified, and it tells you the servers by OEM. It could be Supermicro, it could be Tyan, HP, Dell. I personally work directly with Supermicro on the validation on these boards in their certified platforms. My colleagues in PNY Europe work directly with Tyan, so we know the process. But so what we did is we made it easy for you to select the platform. We have the PDF you're gonna get that tells you the servers, how many boards it supports, and it tells you if it's the active version or the passive version. So now, if you want to deploy a solution like that, you can buy a chassis from one of those OEMs, and then you can source the graphics board and deploy it yourself. Because now, because we certify that platform, you can set a certified platform because already a Supermicro, Tyan, and OEMs did the validation certifications. And as you can see, you see the performance difference between the SKUs. The passive SKUs have a little less performance, minus 8.60%, as you can see there, because they're passive. And they also require the way you power the board. The RTX 6000 and 8000 active require the 8-pin and 6-pin power connector, as the passive one requires a 8-pin CPU connector. We include inside the box a 8-pin to dual 8-pin dongle in there. Most of your servers, when you deploy their solutions, the OEM will also sell a GPU enablement kit that will allow you to provide power to the boards. You also have the capability of stability and GPU memory pooling and performance using the NVIDIA NVLink. And we offer two types. We offer a 2-slot spacing and 3-slot spacing. So depending on the server model that you have, you will be able to install one, either or. But also some servers might not have the space once you connect the NVLink on top to able to close the lid of that server. So you want to make sure, right now we do not list the servers that support the NVLink. Some server manufacturers have modified their covers to have a little hump to accommodate the NVLinks if required. But you don't require the NVLink to have an RTX server for virtualization. This will be something more if you need more peer-to-peer performance. And you will double the way the NVLink will work. So you will double the capacity. So if you have dual RTX 8000s, now when you put two NVLinks, you have 96 gigabytes when you enable that NVLink. So you basically have a huge framework for utilizing two boards. So performance and features, and this is the A6000. It has been released. So basically, it's 48 gigabytes of DDR6. It's based on the new NVIDIA Ampere architecture. You have the new generation of Tensor cores and RT cores. 48 gigabytes of DDR6 ACC memory. So this, once again, when is released and you're able to purchase it, you can put in a workstation, but it will take a few months, as I mentioned previously, to have the solution certified in our RTX server environment. Once again, because you put in so many boards in a server, we gotta make sure that the thermals are there, that there's no power spikes, and that's the first layer of certification. And then you have the application certification being, could be Arno or Teradici, so that takes time to validate that. But be assured, sometime in March, you probably will have an option to purchase an RTX server with the new RTX A6000. So exponentially power and fraction of the cost. As you can see for rendering on the left-hand side, look how many nodes you require with the Skylake servers, and all that power and the space in the data center being replaced by a single 8 GPU RTX server, so 1/4 of the cost. Then you have for artificial intelligence the same thing, replacing 6 dual 18 cores Skylake servers with a single GPU RTX server, so now you're doing 1/5 of the cost. And for simulation, now it's replacing 8x dual 8-core Skylake servers with a single GPU RTX server, now at a savings of 1/7 of the cost. This is the PDF that you're going to get. Actually, this is just a quick snapshot, but it's going to be similar like this, but it's going to say passive of active on the GPU. It will tell you how many GPUs it will support. It will tell you the form factor and the rack. At least it makes it easier for you to decide what platform you want to deploy in your environment. NVIDIA does have a link, and I can send it, but it's a little cryptic on the virtualization side. It actually tells you the platform, how many supports, but it doesn't tell you if it's active or passive. And if you deploy the wrong solution, if it doesn't support an active solution, it will create a thermal chaos in your server. So that's why the PDF that you will receive is a better resource, because it tells you actually the exact SKU that you can deploy. And just quick sample of you see these are the servers that have been validated and qualified and MB-qual to use those solutions. So as I stated before, we actually work closely with Supermicro tie-in. I personally didn't work with AIC, but our value added in PNY, we specialize in GPU, and we provide our resources to these tier 2 OEMs to now be able to certify a chassis that you can actually put your logo and name on it, because that chassis will carry that certification to you. So once again, it's a good way to compete against the tier 1 OEMs, Dell, HP, Lenovo, to provide a solution with your company logo, because now you have that certification that has been done by this tier 2 OEMs. So additional PNY NVIDIA marketing, financial support, demand generation. So if as we're doing today, PNY NVIDIA demand generation activity, world-class NVIDIA enterprise support. We specialize in GPUs, and we have direct relationship with NVIDIA. When you're talking to PNY, you're talking to NVIDIA. We got the resources, we work and collaborate together, detailed configuration cookbooks, and MV-qual based certifications. So basically that MV-qual is a tool that NVIDIA provide to us and the tier 2 OEMs, and wants to make sure when you buy these solutions, they're going to be running 24/7, 365, because they've been certified thermally to work properly. Because once again, you're putting a lot of GPUs in an enclosure, and then you got the certification software layers of workflow to use case specific guides. Any questions that you might have, you can work with Adrian, my colleague that you see him on screen. He can share his information. We do have an email alias, asi@pny.com, and your basic email box, go at pny.com. But rather you at the end, Adrian, can provide our email alias, because now we can support you directly, and he manages our relationship with ASI, so he will be a great resource. And if you need me to get into a call with your customer, or even to set up virtualizations, have the users guide that I can provide to you, give you some guidance. So reach out to Adrian, and he can get you in touch with me. And we are available for anything you need. Once again, if you have customers and you want to get in a conference call, do you need configuration guides or guidance or platforms or service uncertified, don't hesitate to contact us, okay? So I want to make it clear, because this was brought up. In this environment, GeForce doesn't come in play. First of all, if you look at the new GeForce RTX 30 series, great performance boards, they do take 3 slots. They draw a lot of power, 350 watts on the 390, 320 on the 380, 220 on the 370. But they have an active cooling design. Normally, PNY will have a blower design. We're working on it, but it's not recommended to put an active board, especially that size and the power in a server environment. It's not going to be stable. Customers encounter any issues. There's no have ISV certifications. There's no support in NVIDIA in a data center environment on a consumer board. It's not certified for professional applications. And as you guys know, GeForce boards are here today, they're gone tomorrow. The new RTX series is highly in demand. And now if you standardize in one of the solutions and you say, well, I'm gonna make it work, and all of a sudden you can not get product, now you will not able to ship solutions to your product, so to customers. So stay with the certified solutions. And once again, data center deployment is not covered by NVIDIA, GeForce EULA, or warranty. So I just want to make that clear because I know that question that might come up. And any questions you might have, and I'm sorry I should have modified this, you actually want to email asi@pny.com and we will share that email alias. We do have a PNY QUADRO alias in an RTX server dedicated page where you can see more information. With that being said, we're going to open the line for questioning. So if there's any questions you might have. So if we can do that, that would be great.
Yep. So thank you very much, Willie and NVIDIA team, or PNY team, sorry about that. For those of you on the line, if you do have any questions, go ahead and submit your question through the question box. You should see on your console a little tab that says questions, and you can go ahead and type your question in, and then I'll be sure to ask Willie and the team the question. While I'm waiting for some additional questions to come in, we do have a few, and I'll keep waiting for some more to come in. Just to let you guys know, everybody on the line, we will provide copies of the presentation that Willie just went through, and he talked a lot about the PDF file being available, and that is something that we will send to you guys after the presentation. So after the presentation is over, you'll get a few things from us. One will be the PDF file. We'll get you the presentation. We also have a survey that we're going to send out to you that we'd like to ask you guys to take, and I'll talk about that a little bit at the end. But with that said, let's go ahead and let me dive into some of the questions that we have here in our inbox, and you guys can keep sending those in, and we'll be sure to ask Willie. So Willie and PNY team, did I see correctly? Is the QUADRO name going away, and are the Tesla names going away? Maybe you can talk a little bit about the naming scheme for the future cards.
Yeah. So what NVIDIA is doing is it's the product is still a QUADRO product, same performance, ISV certifications, longer life cycle. So the benefits of a QUADRO board are not going away. They're still there. So what NVIDIA marketing did, instead of they just removed the QUADRO, a QUADRO and Tesla name on it. So what you're going to see is that you're going to see an RTX A6000, and you still know that's a QUADRO product, but it's still a QUADRO solution with a QUADRO, all the QUADRO goodness and benefits that you always you have known for many years. The only thing is the marketing name QUADRO and Tesla have been taken away from the boards. But keep in mind, and we assure you, still the same quality product and the benefits with the longer life cycle, the static design, the certified drivers, and the support that is required on a professional solution.
So we see it in the future for marketing and naming perspective, the QUADRO cards will be called RTX 6000 and RTX 8000.
Yeah, and on the Tesla it will be the A100, so but you're not going to have Tesla anymore. But it's still a Tesla product, but just with the marketing name in front of it.
Right. Okay. So great. Got a question about the certification. I know you talked a lot about the systems that are on your current certification list, and that's going to be in the PDF that we send out to everybody. But is there a process to get servers certified for our customers that maybe they have their own server design and they would like to get you know, something in the RTX 6000 or 8000 series certified? Is there a process for doing that?
Not directly for a platform with them, because it takes time and NVIDIA resources and PNY resources. So what NVIDIA does is we work directly, once again, with the tier 2 OEMs like Tyan and Supermicro, and those platforms are certified. So, but you can take those platforms, and I can provide you a list and because they're bare bones systems, you can actually, you don't have to go through the process. Once again, that process can take 3 to 4 months, and you just can take the tier 2 OEM platforms and put your logo on it and still sell an RTX server with your company name because the platform itself is already certified. But there's no resources to able to do one-on-one. We work directly with the tier 1 OEM, NVIDIA does, and PNY with the tier 2.
Yeah, no, that's a great suggestion to be able to use like a Tyan or Supermicro or Gigabit already certified server and kind of build the same one. So when they get the PDF file, does it include the details of what components are in there, or they would need to reach out directly to you to find out?
Well, it tells you the video cards that are supported, and there's also cookbooks on an RTX server, so it tells you the minimum amount of memory that you need. If that's something you're interested in, it's posted on nvidia.com, or I can share that with you. But the best way for the channel business, for what we do, is take one of those platforms and deploy an RTX server now with your own logo, because you're using a certified chassis from the work that already has been done.
Okay. Yeah, so we actually have a couple questions kind of around the configuration of servers, and since you just mentioned cookbooks, so if we have like some questions from customers that want to know if they're doing a server or a workstation, there are cookbooks to kind of tell you what are the best known components to put into, let's say, an Intel based workstation.
Yes, and actually we also have a cookbooks for data science workstation. My colleague Jay is on the call. Jay, I don't know if you're able to talk. He has worked with me and our technical team on those configurations. Jay, can you talk about that?
Yeah, so similar to the data science, similar to the RTX server, we do have the data science workstation cookbook. If you want to make a request, I think the best way is to contact Adrian or ASI at PNY.com. It does have like recommendation from NVIDIA themselves that they validated to working with, for example, with a Supermicro pedestal server, or I believe Tyan as well. So kind of get a lot of those trial and error process out of the way for you guys. And the other thing that is critical for the data science workflow is that it also has instruction about how to set up NVIDIA GPU Cloud, aka NGC. It is a registry of all the kind of framework that's popular in the data science ecosystem, right? So it's all containerized. So for you as resellers, the minimum the setup is minimum, and it's gonna be very easy for you to kind of support your customer because all the hard work's being taken care of by NVIDIA. So if you're interested in that cookbook, definitely reach out to us.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and connect with Willie and Jay, and we'll get the link for the cookbooks, and then we'll send that out to everybody so that we can provide you guys with the link, because we do have quite a few questions around this topic. So I think it would be great we can provide a link to the cookbook. So I have a note here to get that from you guys. So Willie, Adrian, Jay, I'm going to be pinging you after the session to get that link, and then we'll send it out to the customer so that they can have it. I have a question on, you talked a lot about the virtual machines. So on VMs, can a VM utilize more than one vGPU?
Yes. So basically, and if you're interested, once again, normally NVIDIA does not, to do virtualization, it's a little complex. And if you talk to NVIDIA, because of the expertise, they will send you to someone that specializes in that. PNY, on the other hand, we help you, we assist you. I can share it to you a user's guide that shows you not sort of how to set it up, how to deploy the NVIDIA virtual GPU licensing and enabling the licensing server, and how to deploy those resources. Because with Citrix or VMware, you have the ability on the configuration to enable users and give them any amount, slice and dice with the vGPU software, give them, if you have a power user, maybe work with huge files, you can give them 8 gigabytes of memory. And maybe you have a user that works in smaller files, so you give them 2 gigs. So you slice and it's those resources. So if I can send you the user's guide that goes through all the steps, and it will make it easier for you. So I actually have an email that I drafted, when I support customers, that has every link, how to deploy the virtual GPU software, the hardware that is needed, and the configuration with the middleware. So if that's something you're interested in, we also can share that after the webinar is over.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, for everybody that's on the call, all the questions that you guys are submitting right now, we will be providing those questions to PNY, so that they'll be able to see, who asked the question, and in this particular one, they'll be able to follow up directly with whoever asked the question. So if there's additional information that PNY has available, they'll be able to provide that. We're going to get them a list of all the questions once everything is over. So again, even if you ask a question and maybe we didn't have enough time to answer it, they'll have the questions and they can follow up directly with you afterwards. But go ahead and keep sending those in. We definitely want to keep getting your questions here. So Willie, on the Quadro RTX cards, will those work in a 4U chassis with the NVLink modules?
They should, depending on the manufacturer. Once again, I've seen some manufacturers that have modified their covers because of the space in the NVLink, and I cannot tell you 100% is going to work on everyone. Each OEM has a different design, different way that it gets covered. If you are interested in deploying, 4U chassis, let me know the chassis you're utilizing. We also have available, if you have engineering resources, we can give you step files for the RTX 6 and 8000 and the NVLink. So now with a CAD software, you can simulate and make sure everything works. And normally we do that on the level of the chassis manufacturer. Once again, Supermicro tie-in. But if you have a specific model in mind, send us an email. We have a direct relationship with tie-in the Supermicro, if one of those, and we can verify that it does. I'd rather verify it than say yes, it will work, because I see some cases that definitely in the 3U is not going to work, but in some U it should. But I don't want to guess. If you have a specific platform and model number, send that over, and I will double check for you.
Okay. So let's kind of switch gears a little bit here. I have a question regarding the RTX A6000 release. Are those cards available yet? Have they been released? What's the status on those?
They have been launched and announced. We should start seeing shipping at the end of the month or beginning of next year. When do you expect them to see them in distribution, Adrian? Are you actually muted, Adrian? Adrian, you're muted. You're still muted.
I think you're muted, maybe on your phone, Adrian.
Yeah, but
there we go.
Okay, sorry about that. No, Willie, you're right. It's going to be beginning of next year. We are getting a lot of inquiries. We have information ready on our site. Of course, it's been announced, but availability won't be until next year. But what I would highly recommend to get more some of these product announcements, if you guys are not on it yet, make sure you sign up for our partner portal, which is at pnypartners.com. It has all the information. As a matter of fact, what Willie talked about here, if you guys are interested in learning more about different verticals, from AI to how to use Quadro for AEC, MNE, we are encouraging people to sign up for the PNY University. If you actually complete that, there's only 17 modules. You'll actually get a $25 Amazon gift card by just completing that course. So if you guys are not on it yet, pnypartners.com. You'll see a lot of the resources on there, and plus information about a lot of new product releases.
Yeah, and the portal site is great. Great resources. You can, to the portal site, you can request step files, support. If you have an opportunity where you have need a special pricing, you can submit through there. You can see all the promotions that are going on. And like my colleague Adrian said, PNY University is great. If you, there's the videos like with this presentation provided by NVIDIA personnel or PNY. You can pause and rewind the videos, watch them on your own time. But we have videos from video walls environments or from CAE. So it's really there's specific verticals. And if you want to educate yourself and view them, it's a great resource. And you have the ability to chat and talk to anyone. So I do encourage you to sign up to the PNY Partner Portal and go through the PNY University. It's a great resource. It will make you more knowledgeable so you can sell the solutions to your customers and have the confidence of knowing at least the environment. And once again, we are here as a resource for you. If you need us in a conference call, in a webinar, anything, don't hesitate to send us an email. ASI@pny.com. It will get, it's a complete team from field application engineers to sales support, to customer service, to product availability. We can work with you and ASI together. So once again, use us as a resource. We're here to help you sell. And the more you sell, the more we sell. So it's a win-win situation for all of us.
So we're coming up to the end here, and I got a couple more questions I want to try to squeeze in, and then I want to wrap things up and let everybody know what the prizes are and how we're going to do that. And so I want to close things up real quick at the end and kind of leave enough time to do that. So let me try to squeeze in these last couple of questions. On the rear blower on your PNY, do you guys have RTX cards that are going to come out with a rear blower?
On the GeForce front, we are working on a blower design. It's been a difficult task because, as you guys know, in the specs, the boards take about 3 slots, 2.7 slots, with still 3 slots. So they're big, they draw a lot of power. So in order to release a blower version of the board, we need to pass NVIDIA's green light requirement. Which has been a challenge on a blower design. We are working on it. Our value add with PNY when we release our GeForce products, if you look at the RTX 2080 Ti, the benefit of working with PNY is that we don't reduce costs, our consumer boards. We keep it to the NVIDIA reference design because most of our customers that buy GeForce from PNY are really not gaming. They're pulling in a professional environment. NVIDIA does offer studio certified drivers for GeForce or studio drivers. I don't want to say certified, tested, because there's a difference between QUADRO, and I'm going to call it QUADRO because we still have QUADRO solutions, and GeForce. If you go and look at Autodesk website, they list GeForce, says works. But if you look on the right-hand side, it says certified with the QUADRO front. What does that mean to you? Once again, we sell both solutions, and we know everybody has a budget. But if you release a GeForce product and it works, great. The moment you encounter an issue, I won't be able to support you. Not because, oh, look, Willie's mean. I cannot go to NVIDIA and submit a bug on a consumer board in a professional application or environment. So NVIDIA offers the studio drivers. If it works, great. If you encounter any issues, you're on your own. The difference in QUADRO is the certification and the support. If you encounter any issue, we go through the installation and configuration, make sure everything's configured properly. We're able to report. We submit a bug directly with NVIDIA, and NVIDIA will work with the ISB to resolve the issue. So there's nothing, we don't tell you, go talk to Autodesk or Katia. We actually deal with you guys. That doesn't happen on the consumer space. But the answer is yes, we're working to release a blower design.
Yeah. So let me try to squeeze in one last question here, and then we'll get everything wrapped up. It's kind of on the software front, and I was saving this one to the end because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to ask it correctly. Is my issue. But basically, on the CAN software, is there any specialized customization for multiple GPUs? Do you need to do any special customization in the software for multiple GPUs?
I will have to look at the application. Keep in mind, in order for an application to take advantage of multiple GPUs, in the application itself needs to be multi-GPU aware, right? I'll give you an example. 3ds Max is able to take advantage of multiple GPUs. But if you're running a simple version of AutoCAD, it actually, you can have two boards in there, but it's only going to utilize the resources of one. So when it comes to multi-GPU environment, the application has to support the multi-GPU. So, and if it does, there could be a preference or setting where you see both of them, but automatically, if it's multi-VU aware, the application will recognize the multi-VUs and take advantage of it.
Great. All right, so before I close and wrap everything up and give everybody all the great details on what we're doing for prizes and talk about a survey and all that stuff, Adrian, I wanted to give you one last chance here at the very end. PNY does a lot of different products, so maybe you just want to hit really quickly and let everybody on the line know, hey, when you're looking for PNY, you know, here's some other stuff that we do as well.
No, definitely. And first of all, thanks again, Ken, for having us kick off the virtual event. We've been an ASI partner for a very, very long time. And I just mentioned we're a one-stop shop. Again, Willie is pretty much what we call our SME, who's a subject matter expert. We want to do all the heavy lifting when it comes to GPU, but not only do you want to think of PNY as far as GPU, we actually also have SSDs. We have our flash products. And again, like Willie mentioned, we do have the Quadro and we do have the GeForce. So we're always looking at, you know, we can always support you with the best product and based on your needs. The value that we bring and what's unique with us compared to some of our other AIB partners is they only can do GeForce and we have both. So if we really know that you really need to push and go with a Quadro, you know, we will make sure that you know, we provide you with all the details. But if you still decide you want to go with GeForce, again, we still have that product, so we will support you either way. But again, I mentioned earlier the partner portal, definitely sign up. There is a lot of information on there. But with all this stuff that Willie talked about, especially with the new upcoming products, should you guys want to try out, let's say, the new A6000 when it gets releases, you know, ASI does have a program where you can submit a developer unit. You know, once it gets qualified and once it gets approved, if it gets approved, we can get you one or two, up to 2 units. Again, it's based on approval, where you can save between 65 to 75% off the MSRP of that card. So make sure you talk to your ASI rep. Just mention to them, hey, how do I qualify for a developer card? Should you have any opportunities? Again, since we're talking about Quadro, we do have also a reseller program at the moment that you can get some extra Amazon gift cards for the holiday. So if you are looking at any of the entry-level Quadros, the 420, the 400, the 620, the 1000, for anything that you buy, you actually get a $10 Amazon gift card. So make sure you reach out to your ASI rep and ask about that. But again, Ken, thanks for your time. Thanks to the ASI team. Thank you, Willie, for spending the time and doing this training.
You're welcome.
Thank you also, Jay, for being part of the panel.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap everything up and just to kind of close everything out here really quick. There's several things that I'm going to be sending to everybody who joined our webinar today. We've got the presentation deck, the PDF file that we're going to send out that talks about what the certified servers are that use the Quadro cards. And we're going to send out a link to the cookbook that we talked about earlier that kind of gives you an idea of how to configure and what to use in your configurations. The last thing that we're going to send, we have a survey that we want to send out on behalf of PNY. So we're going to send out that survey to you guys as well. And as a special thank you for joining us today for our first webinar and for sticking with us for the extra time that we ran over. For all of you that go ahead and take the survey, I will put you into a raffle drawing for a chance to win an Intel NUC system. So nice. Take that survey and we'll get you in a raffle drawing for a chance to win a NUC. In addition to that, for you all joining us today for the PNY seminar, we're going to give away an iPad, and we'll announce the winner of that during tomorrow's seminar session after we've had a chance to kind of pull all the names for who joined us today. So a bunch of stuff coming your guys' way, great chance to win some pretty cool prizes. If you didn't hear at the beginning, Our session tomorrow is from Intel. They'll be talking about vPro technology, and they will be giving away a NUC system for their presentation. Then we have Samsung on Thursday, and we are wrapping it up on Friday with Supermicro. So on behalf of all the PNY team that were with us today, and for ASI, I want to thank all you guys for joining us for our seminar session today. We look forward to seeing everybody back tomorrow. Definitely come back. There's a lot of great content in the 3 remaining sessions we want you guys to hear about and learn about, and also chances to win, you know, some pretty awesome prizes. So again, thanks everybody for joining. Thanks, Willie. Thank you, Adrian.
Everybody,
Thanks,
happy holidays. Stay safe and well, and let's sell and grow together. Thank you.
Sounds great. And thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, guys.